In 1972, engineers at the Eurodiff uranium processing plant were inspecting a shipment of ore from Gabon. Everywhere else in the solar system, natural uranium has a fixed isotopic signature, whether from the Earth's crust, the lunar surface, or ancient meteorites, exactly 0.720. This microscopic measurement proved that the Earth had operated its own nuclear reactor 2 billion years before humans first split the atom. The investigation shifted to the source of the ore, the Oklo mine in Gabon. On-site analysis confirmed the presence of fission products, byproducts like neodymium and ruthenium, trapped within the uranium lodes. The chemical evidence left no doubt that a sustained chain reaction had occurred here. In human engineering, nuclear plants require hyper-precise enrichment, shielding, and cooling systems. We treat fission as an achievement of advanced technology. But Oklo reveals that a reactor is essentially a set of physical requirements. 2 billion years ago, specific geological conditions mimicked our own engineering by sheer accident. To maintain a chain reaction, nature had to provide 3 things: enriched fuel, a moderator to slow down neutrons, and a way to keep the heat from spiraling out of control. Requirement 1 is fuel. Modern reactors require uranium enriched to about 3% uranium-235 to ignite. Today's natural deposits sit at only 0.7%, which is too stable to start a reaction. Deep time solved this problem. Because uranium-235 decays faster than uranium-238, its concentration in the Earth's crust was much higher in the distant past. 2 billion years ago, it naturally sat at the 3% threshold we use in our reactors today. The second requirement is a moderator. When an atom fissions, it ejects neutrons moving at 20,000 kilometers per second. At those speeds, they simply bounce off other atoms without causing further splits. As groundwater seeped into the porous uranium ore at Oklo, the hydrogen atoms in the water acted as a moderator. They slowed the neutrons down to a speed where they could reliably trigger the next atomic split, sustaining the chain reaction. Nature had assembled the fuel and the spark. But without a control system, this heat would quickly lead to a meltdown. Once the reaction ignited, the uranium deposits began generating roughly 100 kilowatts of heat. As the temperature climbed, the groundwater that was acting as the moderator began to boil, eventually turning into steam. Steam is far less dense than liquid water and cannot effectively slow down neutrons. By boiling its own water away, the reactor automatically removed its own moderator, shutting down the reaction before it could overheat. The proof of this cycle is preserved in the rock today. Researchers discovered anomalous xenon isotopes trapped in the minerals that could only have formed through a specific pulsing operation. This gauge illustrates the timeline derived from that data: 30 minutes of active fission, followed by 2.5 hours of dormant cooling as the steam cleared and fresh water seeped back in. This cycle repeated autonomously, day and night, for roughly 150,000 years. Oklo's water-steam loop managed to maintain a stable output for 100 millennia longer than the operational lifespan of any human-made facility. The operation of any reactor inevitably creates a byproduct that remains the most difficult challenge of modern energy: radioactive waste. During its active lifespan, Oklo produced dangerous radioactive gases like xenon and krypton. If these had leaked, they could have contaminated the surrounding environment. Instead, these volatile elements were immobilized. They were captured within the rigid crystalline structure of aluminous phosphate minerals that formed during the reactor's operation, effectively freezing the waste in place. Analysis shows that this containment held for 2 billion years. Even without specialized canisters or concrete bunkers, the toxic byproducts remained exactly where they were created. Oklo provides an empirical case study for deep geological storage, demonstrating that the Earth's crust can successfully isolate nuclear byproducts over tectonic timescales. Today, a new generation of energy companies is using the Gabon site as a direct inspiration for modern power plants. Engineers at the startup Oklo Inc. are developing advanced reactors designed to run on recycled fuel, aiming to replicate the long-term efficiency and waste reduction observed at the ancient site. Nuclear fission is often described as an artificial, human invention, but the Gabon deposits prove it is a natural process that the Earth mastered in the deep past. We are simply catching up.